If you're new to Minecraft, your first day can feel a little overwhelming, but in this video I'll show you all of the basics you need to know to get started. I will show you how to get your first tools, find food, stay safe and actually understand what's happening in the game. I'll talk you through everything as you see it on screen, so by the end you'll know exactly how to survive your first day in Minecraft. I'm playing on Java Edition, but this tutorial works on both Java and Bedrock Edition, so no matter where you play Minecraft, everything in this video will work the same for you. Before we get into gathering resources, let's quickly look at the 3 bars on screen. First, you've got your health bar. This is your normal health. If you take fall damage, get hit by a mob or stand in something dangerous, you lose hearts. As long as your hunger bar is full, your health will slowly regenerate by itself. Right next to it we have the hunger bar. This goes down whenever you run, jump, mine or do anything active. When it gets low you won't be able to sprint and you also won't heal. Eating food fills this bar back up and keeping it full is one of the most important things for your first day. And then at the bottom you'll see your XP bar. You don't have to worry too much about that right now. XP is mainly used later in the game for enchanting and we'll talk about that in a separate tutorial. And at the bottom of your screen you'll see your hotbar. This is where you keep your most important items so you can quickly switch between tools, weapons and food while you're playing. So now that you know that, we can continue. The first thing you want to do is go to a tree and start collecting wood. Wood is one of the most important resources in Minecraft, especially early on. You use it for tools, sticks, crafting tables, torches and even a base. Try to gather between 5 and 10 logs to start. That's more than enough for your first tools and to get your world going. Once you have enough wood, the next step is to make a crafting table. Open your inventory and you'll see a small 2x2 crafting area. This is the basic crafting grid you start with, but it's too small to make most of the important items in the game. That's why we need a crafting table. Take your logs and place them in the crafting slots like this. This turns them into wooden planks. After that you need 4 planks to craft a crafting table. Once you have it, move it to your hotbar and place it down in the world. Now you'll be able to craft much more advanced items using the 3x3 crafting grid. Now that the crafting table is placed, open it and you'll see the full 3x3 crafting grid. The first thing you want to make is sticks. Take 2 planks and place it like this. As you can see, this is the recipe for sticks. Sticks are really important and it's used in almost every tool recipe. Let me quickly show you the basic crafting recipes. This is the recipe for a wooden pickaxe. This is the recipe for a wooden axe. This is the recipe for a hoe. This is the recipe for a shovel. And this is the recipe for a wooden sword. So now you know how to craft the tools, but what do they actually do? Here's a quick explanation of what each tool is used for so you know exactly when to use them. Starting with the axe. The axe is great for chopping wood quickly, and in the early game it also deals very high damage. It's usually the strongest weapon on your first day because it hits hard, even though it swings a bit slower. Moving on to the sword is designed mainly for combat. It attacks faster than the axe and you can hit multiple enemies at once, which makes it really useful when fighting a group of mobs. Moving on to the pickaxe. The pickaxe is the most important tool in Minecraft because it's the only tool that can mine stone, coal, iron and every other ore. Without the pickaxe you can't progress or collect better materials. Next we have the shovel. The shovel is used for softer blocks like dirt, sand, gravel and snow. It breaks these blocks much faster than your hand, which makes clearing or digging areas a lot easier. And the last tool we'll be talking about now is the hoe. The hoe is mainly used for farming. It prepares the ground so you can plant seeds and grow food. It's not essential on your very first day, but it becomes important once you start building food supply. But for now we'll only need a wooden pickaxe, so I'll craft that. Then close the crafting table and break it so you can take it with you. Alright, now we want to start looking for some stone. While I'm heading over there, let me quickly show you how to sprint. On keyboard and mouse you can just hold W and press Ctrl, or you can just double tap W. On controller you can press L3 or simply push the stick forward twice to start sprinting. Sprinting makes you move a lot faster, but it does use more hunger. Okay, so I finally found some stone. When you mine stone, it drops cobblestone instead of the smooth stone texture you see. Cobblestone is one of the most useful resources early in the game. To craft the most important items we need right now, you should collect at least 8 pieces of cobblestone. So I'm going to mine 8 pieces before we continue. Once you have 8 pieces of cobblestone, place your crafting table down again. Make a few more sticks and then use the exact same recipe as before to craft stone tools. Just replace the planks with cobblestone. Craft a stone pickaxe, a stone axe and a stone sword. These tools are stronger and last much longer than the wooden version. When you're done, close the crafting table and break it using your stone axe. The axe breaks it much faster than using your hand. Now that you have the basic tools, we can start looking for some food. There are a few different ways to get food in Minecraft, but the simplest method early on is by getting it from animals. So here when I hit a sheep you can see it drops a piece of wool and some raw mutton. The mutton is a great early game food source and we'll cook it later to make it even better. And the wool is also very useful because you'll need it to craft a bed. So I'll be going ahead and grab 3 pieces of wool since that's how much you need to make a bed. Next we have cows. Cows are also very useful because they drop raw beef and leather. Raw beef is one of the best early game food sources once it's cooked, and leather is used later for things like books and armor. Other animals that drop leather is horses, donkeys and mules, but they won't drop any meat, only leather. Pigs will drop raw pork chops and chickens will drop raw chicken and feathers. You can eat all of these meats raw, but it's not recommended. Eating raw chicken can give you the hunger effect, which basically make you lose hunger even faster. And in general, cooked food is far more efficient, so we'll be cooking everything a bit later in the episode. As you can see, it's starting to get later in the day and we need a base for the night. One of the easiest ways to make a starter base is to dig straight into the side of a hill or a mountain. It's quick, safe and gives you instant protection from mobs. You'll also be getting a ton of cobblestone, which is really useful. So to start off, you need to find a mountain or a hill that looks good. When you find one, start by clearing out the dirt at the entrance. Sometimes the mountain will have stone, sometimes dirt or a mix of both, but just keep digging your way in. Once you reach stone, switch to your pickaxe, this will let you mine much faster. You can make the space as big as you want, it's completely up to you, and as you can see I've already made mine pretty big. And while I was digging everything out I found some coal. If you find coal while you're digging, make sure to mine it. Coal is extremely useful early on. You'll use it for cooking and smelting items in the furnace, and you also need it to craft torches so you can light up your base to keep mobs from spawning. Now that I've mined all the coal, I'm going to start closing up the hole where I just mined the coal, just so the base will look a bit better. As you can see, it's already starting to get dark outside. So now it's time to start building the inside of your base. Place your crafting table wherever you want. I'm just going to put mine in the corner. Once you've placed it down, open it, and the first thing you want to craft is a bed. To make a bed, place 3 planks along the bottom row and then put 3 wool directly above them. That's the recipe for a bed. If you don't know a crafting recipe, it's really easy to check. You can use the recipe book on the left side. This will show you all the items you're able to craft. And if you click on this tab, it will filter the list so you only see the recipes you have the ingredients for. Everything shown here is something you can craft right now with the materials you have. I'm going to close the recipe book now, and the next thing we need is a furnace. This is the recipe for a furnace. Once you have cobblestone, you can craft it and place it wherever you want in your base. I'm also going to make some torches. To craft torches, place a stick at the bottom and a piece of coal directly above it. Torches are important because they keep your base lit and stop mobs from spawning. Next, I'm going to craft some doors. Just use 6 wooden planks to make 3 doors. And lastly, I'm going to make some stairs. This part isn't necessary, but I want them for my base. And like I mentioned, if you need anything, just use the recipe book. Okay, so now we can place all of the items I just crafted. First I'm going to replace these 2 blocks here, and as you can hear my pickaxe just broke. If that happens to you, you can simply craft a new one the same way as before. I'll place my stairs right here and then take the 2 doors and place them like this. You can place the doors on the outside if you prefer the look, but this worked just fine. Next I'm going to place 2 torches on the outside and 2 torches on the inside of the base. Having torches outside is really helpful because it makes your base easier to find if you walk away and lose track of it. Next I'm going to place down my bed. You can right click or tap on the bed to sleep in it, and this will skip the entire night and set the respawn point for you. As you can see, once you wake up the sun will be rising and it will be daytime again. My character is starting to get hungry, so I'm going to place down my furnace. The bottom slot is for fuel and the top slot is where you put the food or anything you want to smelt or cook. So I'll put my coal in the fuel slot and then place a raw mutton in the top slot. Now you just need to wait for the arrow to fill up, and once it reaches the end, 1 piece of food will be fully cooked. Once the food is cooked, you can take it out of the furnace and eat it to restore your hunger. And that's pretty much the basics of surviving your first day in Minecraft. I really hope you found this tutorial helpful, and if you need any help or have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments. I will be answering every single comment on this video. Thanks for leaving a like and subscribing, and I will see you in the next video.